So, press Pandora and went straight to commercial. Angry Orchard. Get yourself some angry apples. Oh, perfect, because I was going to go straight into the HBO and the Adam and Eve story that gets sold in every single movie that gets put out there. It's just unbelievable how many stories in these movies are just a big giant Adam and Eve story that's being manipulated and sold so they can sell more diamond rings and get more blood diamonds, which are also regulated by the same people of monetary manipulations. So, anyways, HBO. HBO was an implant into the subconscious mind of the millennials. It was, and still is, a huge storyline that's being sold. And they knew that the kids that were watching those cartoons and doing all that stuff in their schools, we were dreaming and watching all those cartoons, and they knew that we were gonna grow up and start remembering stuff and start asking questions and connecting stuff and moving information around. And when the internet came out, that was like a spark for us to do it on our own, and to set off trigger seeds for us to go back into these books and connect back with the people and back with the land and understand where it is that we're going, not only as individuals, to jump out of that system, but and jump into a space where we're all taking care of this planet first, recognizing our ancestors, our culture, our surroundings, the planets, the planet, the plants, the animals, seeing the trees as tree people, and us as just like walking trees on Wi-Fi. There's like trees with Wi-Fi instead of landlines. Trees are landline humans, and humans are Wi-Fi trees, and we're just walking around doing whatever it is that we've chosen to come do on this. What is going on? What is this? This sounds like HBO. So this is a perfect that horn right there. That sounded like late night HBO or Cinemax. And then the whole creation of Cinemax and Showtime and HBO, the fact that they all exist. It was just like Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo and regular Nintendo. They created these identities, these little sub layers, just like Saved by the Bell is a little like identity creator for people to get into and just find out who they are. Are you Zach Morris, AC Slater, or are you Screech? Or you get on a cartoon, or are you that unicorn, or are you this unicorn? Or you get on the news and say, oh, I more relate to this person and that person, or you get into, this movie, I more relate to this. They create these identities for us, preposition moments, preposition archetypes, preposition ideas for people to create a false reality, a false identity, an identity that can be linked straight back to your straw man and your false sense of reality with that certificate number on your little baby feet. It's a whole system of depth that these threads intermingle with and get into and start really anchoring us into a world. And from my own personal experience, seeing these worlds of just straight up lockdown psychology, it's just completely. It goes into the depths of self-destruction, any kind of self-destruction mode. So there's all kind of self-destruct modes that get sold on a daily basis. You can see them in with the prescription drugs and the prescription drug commercials that are just littered all over the television, and we allow our children to watch these to watch these shows, and these commercials weren't around as much as they were. They weren't around back when I was, back in the 80s, back when I was a kid. So I wasn't privy to this. So I can see the stories being sold to these kids, and the kids, not the kids today, like a 5-year-old watching the television today and watching the commercials of today. You can see that 5-year-old plus 20 years, plus 30 years, what their mentality is going to be like, from what kind of foundation is being planted into their subconscious right now. You can look at the television and see what kind of people they're trying to create with this, with the whole techno movement, the whole biotech movement, the whole needing to have a phone and needing to have a leash and needing to have this and needing to have that. It's all dependency and desensitization, just covering up the culture and replacing it with an idea of what humanity is supposed to be like, and make it so grand that we forget about the other lies that were also part of this story to keep these illusions afloat. And they just have to keep selling this story. And I hate to say they, but there is a definite, there's a creative intelligence and there's a destructive intelligence. And we exist as both of those potentials, and we carry out our realities with an intent. And you can tell by your intuition and your own feelings who is who when you walk up to somebody, you listen to somebody, or whatever it is. You can tell what's up, and that's an actual piece of humanity that is it's an awareness. It's an archetype. It's like being able to have a sense of just hearing. It's like a different layer of hearing, or a different layer of listening, or a different layer of feeling. You know, it exists as part of us, and we are told that these things are just, side effects to humanity, and if we start connecting all of these dots and the stuff that we're told not to pay attention to, we start moving on with the limitations that we created for ourselves with the idea of money today, and the idea of technology from all the hidden stuff, the idea of extraterrestrials and interterrestrials. They're not even speaking about this stuff. Even the astronauts can't even speak about stuff. And all of the side stories that still get sold to this day. And there's religion and the mainstream is interwoven very closely, and the mainstream and the White House and all of the White Houses on the planet are all interwoven very closely. And they're all interwoven into Hollywood. So it's one big ball of yarn that these cats been playing around with for a long time. And it's not funny anymore because people are dying. Yet these stories are being played and laughed about, and little subconscious layers of storylines are being sold on networks like HBO to this day. Like, so I was just saw a story where the one with D.L. Hughley, the latest one that was on with D.L. Hughley, and he was saying some things, and then Bill Maher goes on this whole, look at that whole rant as if it were a power play on humanity, and check it out, just feel it out and see the subconscious layers that are being sold, like how deep he goes into explaining not a truth, but explaining an idea. It's just an idea that he has to reinforce with emotion and whatever it is that gets done with our own our own styles, our own egos. Is we all have how we present ourselves and our personality. And there's ways that people use it to push people around, like push their weight around. And I would feel like if I was on his show, starting off in my head, just to introduce into that reality would have to involve a defense mechanism of some sort. And then once I realize what it is that I'm defending myself against, and you can see that it's really just about the space in that moment, and what's all involved in that moment, because everything changes from this moment to the next. So it really doesn't matter. You can't really plan for anything. You just, but that's the whole point. The fact that there's a space of something there to where you just can't talk to this dude and not be sold some kind of whatever storyline HBO is selling at the moment, because that's what it is. They have mouthpieces to sell things for certain moments and certain times when certain things on the board are going however, and it's in and interwoven throughout. It's throughout the system, and a lot of people are decoding it from different angles. It really is like decoding a matrix, and it mirrors ourselves. It decodes and mirrors like our own involvement when you start working in the collective. It's like, whoa, these timelines are overlapping. Of you can feel like your heart, like your heart in spaces in different countries. And I've never even been to certain countries, but I can still feel like my connection to Africa and South America. And when you go to these places, you can feel it. You can feel it in your bodies. You can feel it. Your body starts processing a certain something. And these are the real experiences that the busy world microwave mentality wants to keep us from experiencing, because in that space is where there's something else. There's something else that is higher, that is like a deeper love, like having a deeper awareness of something. Then you can have a deeper love. There's a deeper experience, a deeper sort of awareness, a deeper self connection. Whatever it is how we are experiencing. And that's another part of this, is how we are experiencing is very important. And you can just look at how the experience of the mainstream is being sold to people. And then you can see it easier when you see it's being sold to little kids on the cartoons and the television shows. The G.I. Joe and the DuckTales and Up to the Saved by the Bells and all those. It's like every age, every bracket that you exist in, there's a story that will be sold to you and that exists for you to have a vicarious representative. Just like your straw man on a birth certificate, there's a space, a box for every angle to fit in. And that's really what it boils down into, is boxing in the heart, creating congestive heart failure, and blocking everything, the Sims reality, into a box, into a Minecraft. And then we sit in this box of illusions that we call our reality, and walk through our reality, convincing ourselves and everybody else that this is what it is. This is how something is. And really, when you're doing that with McDonald's, like I was eating McDonald's every day and destroying my body, but I didn't know that. I mean, that was part of my experience at the time. And we go into those depths to really feel out and create these anchors of understanding. These are part of our experiences. But when you come out, it's like, wow, this is really happening to people. Like that, what this stuff does to us there's a creative and destructive intent to it. It's very real as far as the even science can prove. Like the science is starting to realize this stuff. Like who's already knowing this stuff beyond the scientists? There's been people who've been knowing about these intents for some time now, but we can't. It just hasn't been time, and there's people who've been taken out, for stuff or whatever. But then you have to go into a space of transcending fear and then realizing that this whole experience is one experience. This whole experience is connected. We are all here together. And that's the only way we're going to get out of this, is to realize our connected hearts and activate that love frequency that has been beat down for so long. Beat down from our family members, beat down from our psyche, from our what we call intellectual states of mind, our culture. Everything has been shut down, and now is the time that we're turning it back on. So I'll see you on the next one.